This is an SLA printer, which instead of squirting out plastic, uses liquid resin and a laser. Part of SLA printing is curing the final piece. So you have to take the piece out of the bed, rinse off the extra resin, and cure it with UV light. So we're gonna build a system over here to be able to do all of that post-processing work. We're gonna build a really simple structure, just a top that goes here, and then some storage on the side. That's also gonna hold the UV curing box. And then on top, we'll have a couple of bins with some alcohol so we can rinse off the pieces. Then we can lay the top piece of wood in place and figure out where we need to drill out some cavities so that the top can sit directly on top of the printer. I'm gonna put the top on, but I need to make sure that these are separated the same amount as the bottom. So I'm gonna take one of the other shelves and put it in between these and clamp that together to keep them in the right position. The panels, these tiles, and they're 12 by 12. We're gonna use these on the inside to help reflect the UV light around within the chamber. We're also gonna use these for the spacing. We're gonna make a little door to go on this part. It's gonna be inset in here, and it will have a mirror on the back side of it so that the inside of that box is all mirrored in every direction. We're gonna put some face hinges out here just to make it be able to open. I'm using a self-centering drill bit here, and it's got a little collar that's spring-loaded on it. So the end of it centers itself within the hinge that you're trying to put the hole in, and then it drills the hole right in the middle. We got the tiniest hinges we have on hand, and they still hang over a little bit. That's because this entire thing is being built out of scrap that we had, so we used 1/2-inch plywood. If you use 3/4, you'd have a little bit more gap on this side, and you could use bigger hinges as well. I've got these holes for the hardware and made sure to countersink them on the back side so that the head of this screw can go all the way in. There's going to be a mirror on this face, and so we don't want anything sticking out this direction. It also just dawned on me that I want to edge band to the front face, so I'm going to have to take this door off, and in that process we can actually fix these hinges. I put the barrel of the hinge outside the door. It can just as easily lay on top of the door and get rid of this overhang for the hinge on the outside edge. I'm just covering up all the plywood edging with some edge banding. It's really simple and makes a pretty big difference on the look of your project. This is quick and dirty construction, so it's not super stable, but to stiffen it up a little bit, I'm going to put a panel on the back of these two, and that'll connect across all of these different sides, and that should stop it from flexing a little bit. Now we're going to do the little curing station here on the top. I've got these mirrored panels that I've had around, so we're going to use them, and we made this to fit. But really you could do anything reflective on the inside of this and it would work just the same. You could use aluminum tape or aluminum foil or aluminum flashing. Anything that has reflective qualities will work right here. So we made this to fit these panels, so we're going to drop them in and kind of mirror all 4 sides of the box. The bottom mirror will sit in there just fine and not go anywhere, but the side ones will fall in. Even though they're fit really nicely, they'll fall inward. So we're going to use some double-sided tape to hold them against the side panels, but if we ever need to take them off, this will release them. Curing area for the pieces, and they need to be cured with UV light, and we want to bounce it in every direction so we hit every side of the piece that we've printed. So we're going to put a panel right here covered in UV LEDs, and it's going to bounce that light all over the place so we can hit every side of the piece. I've got a piece of wood cut that's going to fit right in here, so we're going to cover this with reflective material and then put some LEDs on top of it. I've got all the LEDs stuck to this panel, so now I'm going to put it inside this case. I'm just going to hold it in place with some hot glue from the backside in case we need to take it out for anything. Now we're just going to power up those LEDs, and it's going to bounce UV light all around the inside of this box. That light is going to hit the solar panels on this little turntable, and so when we put a piece on here, the piece will be spinning and it'll be getting light from every side, so that should fully cure the piece. So now we just set this thing in place around the printer. It should be about good to go. Before we start putting any of the liquid on top of this, I want to cover this surface with some clear contact paper. You could put finish on this whole thing, but I'm not really worried about that. I just want to make sure that this top is protected from liquid. The print's all ready, so now we're going to go through the process of rinsing it off. I wanted to explain why these containers are up here. These are both full of alcohol, and that's what you use to get rid of the resin on an SLA print. So we've got a big tank to clean off the print bed, and then we've got a smaller one to clean off the piece, and this one even has a little strainer to help rinse off some of the resin on the piece. We've got most of the resin cleaned off, so now we got to cure this piece, and we're going to go down to our little curing box that we made. Put it in there, and let it set for a while. There it is, a really simple station just to make it easier to use this printer. Now if you only need the curing station, you could totally make that out of anything. A cardboard box with some reflective material on the inside would do the exact same job. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.